The dark room around you is very quiet, and the world has slowed its pace. You can hear your own breath moving in and moving out, steady as a slow wave. Tonight, we are going to look directly at the one thing the modern mind spent its entire life running from. We are going to open a door toward the absolute ending of this physical form, the mystery of death itself. Every single person you passed on the street today shares this exact, unescapable destination. Every house you look at, every project you build, every bank account you track will someday change hands. Yet, your culture treats this ultimate law of nature like a tragic mistake or a personal failure. We bury the truth behind hospital curtains, insurance policies, and silent, polite taboos. And because we run from the end, we spend our precious days living in a state of low-level, permanent fear. The Buddha viewed this final transition with an extraordinary, unflinching, and liberating clarity. He did not look at death with dread, nor did he offer empty, sweet, spiritual consolations to the grieving. He looked at it the way a skilled sailor looks at the vast sea, as the very environment we must navigate. He taught that when you stop running from your mortality, it ceases to be a terrifying phantom in the dark. It transforms into a grand, beautiful teacher, a master that clarifies the value of every single breath you take. Whatever you have been gripping so tightly today, whatever plans you are trying to force, set them here. Let your lower back release into the mattress. Let your hips sink, and let the heavy weight of the hours go. You are fully welcome, completely safe, and held inside this vast, unhurried space. The second your mind stops fighting the truth, the long suffering loses its ground. Let us travel back 25 centuries to a darkened room in ancient India. A wealthy, respected householder named Citta is lying on his deathbed, surrounded by his weeping family. He has been a dedicated practitioner of the path for decades. His mind is sharp, clear, and uncompressed. As his breath grows shallow, the ancient texts record a strange, invisible event taking place. The unseen gods of the beautiful heavenly realms assemble in the quiet room around his bed. They whisper directly into his fading consciousness, offering him a path to eternal pleasure. Fix your mind on us, the celestial voices urge him. Come to our world of no pain, no sorrow, and endless joy. Think of what that invitation means to a human being whose physical body is breaking apart in agony. It is the ultimate rescue plan, the perfect escape hatch from the grim reality of human dissolution. And on that final bed, Citta does something that breaks the observers open with profound confusion. He speaks out loud to the empty air of the room, firmly refusing the gods. No, he says clearly. Do not offer me that. I am not interested in your permanent heavens. His weeping family, unable to see the gods, believes their dying father has finally lost his mind to the fever. Father, please do not speak like that, his children beg him. Do not talk to yourself in your last hours. Citta looks at them with gentle, lucid eyes and explains the reality of what is happening. I am not mad, he tells them. The devas, of the radiant realms are standing here, tempting me with heaven, but I have refused them, because even the highest heaven is born of conditions, and whatever is conditional must change. If I grasp onto a heavenly state right now, I am simply signing another contract with future disappointment. Look closely at the immense freedom operating on that dying man's bed. He was not trying to protect a state, nor was he reaching for a cosmic insurance policy to save him. He had trained his attention to rest so deeply in the present that even heaven looked like a prison of expectations. He understood that the mind's true nature is not a place you travel to after the pulse stops. The mind is the very sky in which all states, earthly and celestial, temporarily arise and pass away. His family then asks him for his final inheritance, his last words of advice before the light leaves his eyes. He does not tell them to build a monument, nor does he give them instructions on how to manage his wealth. Train yourselves like this, the dying man whispers. May we have faith in the path, and may our hearts be open. With those simple words, his chest settles, the breath leaves his body, and he steps entirely out of the loop. You do not have a company of gods whispering to you tonight, but you have your own version of the con. Your mind is constantly projecting an idealized future where you will finally be safe, complete, and finished. When I get the promotion, when I fix the relationship, when I secure the numbers, the voice whispers. We spend our entire existence polishing a brick, believing that enough effort will force it to become a mirror. But a human life is not a fixed monument to be perfected. 'Tis a dynamic river flowing toward the sea. Every single cell in your body right now is participating in a slow, magnificent dance of change. The person you were in a photograph taken 10 years ago has already vanished from the face of the earth. Their literal cells have been completely replaced, their certainties overturned, their crisis forgotten. You survived the ending of that past self without ever holding a single funeral for it. The Buddha offered his students 5 simple facts to repeat to themselves every single day. They were not designed to make people sad. They were designed to cut the invisible wires of anxiety. Let us repeat them together tonight, letting each one land in your physical body like bread. First, I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape old age. Second, I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape ill health. Third, I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. Fourth, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no escape from separation. Fifth, I am the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, born of my actions. Whatever I do, I shall receive the harvest. Listen to how heavy those phrases sound at first, and then notice the strange relief hiding inside them. When you say, I should not be growing old, this sickness should not be happening, this person should not leave, you have taken a second full-time job arguing with the foundational architecture of reality. The loss of control happens exactly once. But the argument with the loss happens every single night on your pillow. Life shoots the first arrow of real pain, which is bloody, unpreventable, and part of being alive. But then your mind fires a second arrow into the exact same wound, the "why me, if only." This is a violation. The first arrow causes the clean physical ache. The second arrow causes the long, exhausting suffering. Tonight, you are allowed to quietly decline to fire the second arrow into your own weary chest. Think of the massive relief that arrives when a courtroom finally adjourns after a long, bitter trial. You have been serving as the prosecutor, the defendant, and the jury inside your own head for decades, reviewing past mistakes, prosecuting yourself for not seeing the crisis coming, blaming your competence, as if a more perfect version of you could have gripped the world tightly enough to stop the seasons from turning. There is no throne inside your mind. The seat has always been completely empty. The competition you have been losing against an idealized, perfect life does not exist anywhere. When you accept that things pass simply because passing is what things do, the war around your history ends. Your memories stop being a litigation against the universe and become a warmth with a soft ache in it. The people you love, your past self, your lost chapters, they do not need your continuous suffering to stay real. They only ever needed your love, and unlike the burning of anxiety, the true love costs absolutely nothing to keep. Let your shoulders drop another half an inch into the mattress right now. Let your jaw go soft, letting the upper and lower teeth part just a fraction of a millimeter. The words you didn't say today, the presentations you ran, the numbers you checked, let them fall into the dirt. Your field of real work ended the exact second your hands left the tools this evening. The germination of tomorrow belongs entirely to conditions you cannot micromanage from your bed. The world will run its own complex programming tonight without a single bit of your supervision. You are not the sky managing the clouds. You are the wide, open space in which the weather happens. Let the breath slow down even further if it wants to, moving deep into your soft belly. Somewhere tonight, a river is moving past an empty bank, carrying autumn leaves gently toward the vast sea. Somewhere, an ancient brick lies completely still in a quiet courtyard. No one needs to polish anything. And beneath your body right now, the giant planet is holding your entire weight without growing tired. It held you through every single year you spent frantically gripping. It holds you now as you grip nothing. The voices of the day are fading out. The ledger is closed. The guards have been sent home. Your hands can close around absolutely nothing tonight. And rest. May you be safe in the deep hours of the night. May you be well in the midst of this changing world. May you be completely at peace with your night exactly as it is. May you be free. You are already home. Let us deepen this silence even further as we rest in this space together. The mind wants to categorize this teaching as a philosophy, but it is much closer to medicine. When you look at your life through the lens of permanent possession, everything becomes a threat. The car that gets scratched, the hair that turns grey, the plan that falls through on Friday afternoon. Every single event becomes an accusation from a universe you believe is actively working against you. But the universe has no personal agenda regarding your specific plans or your chosen timeline. The trees drop their leaves because the temperature drops and the light fades into winter. They do not mourn the loss of their summer garments. They simply trust the empty architecture of the season. Your body is part of that exact same intelligent, unhurried, and natural world. Let us look closely at the fourth fact the Buddha asked us to remember daily. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change and separate from me. When you first hear those words, the survival instinct inside you wants to immediately contract. It wants to squeeze the people you love a little harder, to text them, to guard their safety with your worry. But worry has never once lengthened a human life or protected a single heart from breaking. Worry is just the noise a terrified ego makes when it realizes it is not the master of the world. When you stop pretending you can freeze your life in place, something extraordinary happens to your love. The love stops being an administrative project where you are constantly monitoring the weather. It transforms into a deep, radical appreciation for the brief window of time you have together. Think of a beautiful guest who comes to stay at your house for just a single weekend. Because you know their time with you is short, you do not spend the weekend arguing about the furniture. You do not track their movements with suspicion or demand that they promise to stay forever. You sit with them at the table, you listen to their voice, you enjoy the warmth of their presence. Every single person in your life right now is that temporary, beautiful guest. They are on loan to you from a universe that signs absolutely no permanent contracts with anyone. When you accept the loan as a loan, each morning you wake up with them becomes a gift. Instead of an inheritance you were somehow owed by existence, it becomes a sudden piece of luck. The clench inside your chest relaxes, the jaw softens, and you can finally meet them without the glass. Now let us look at the fifth fact, which carries the most profound weight of all. I am the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, and my actions are the ground on which I stand. The modern world has trained you to believe you are the owner of your future outcomes. You believe that if you work hard enough, you own the promotion, the success, the perfect reputation. But outcomes are harvests grown from 1,000 conditions you will never see or control. The only territory you ever truly own is the quality of your immediate intention, your next move. When you offer your action fully to the present moment and let go of the result, you are free. The farmer plants the seed with care, turns the soil, and ensures the water flows across the field. But the farmer does not stand over the dark dirt at 2 a.m, commanding the seed to germinate. The germination belongs to the dark, silent clock hidden inside the earth itself. Half of your life's deep exhaustion is spent trying to control what happens below the ground line. You are spending your life's only currency, your precious attention, shouting at hidden seeds. Cut that wire tonight. Let the results be whatever the conditions make them tomorrow morning. Your sentence was spoken, your work was delivered, your love was offered, and that is entirely enough. What the room does with your sentence, what the market does with your work, is not your kingdom. Let the little king on the little throne step down into the quiet grass and sleep. There is nowhere you need to carry your life before the sun returns to this room. The breath knows exactly how to breathe without one single bit of your assistance or management. Let us sit with the memory of Tongya Cakkhupāla, who walked his path in total darkness. He lost his physical sight completely, yet his practice did not lose 1 millimeter of its alignment. He did not look backward at the world he could no longer see with regret or bitter arguments. He relied on a gathered, present mind that was entirely independent of external conditions. Your room right now is dark, and your current life conditions may not be ideal or perfect. Perhaps there is a real problem waiting for you on Monday morning, or a grief that hasn't finished its work. But the practice has never been about waiting for perfect conditions to arrive before you can rest. The practice is the steady quality of attention you bring to the imperfect condition right now. The darkness of this night is completely sufficient. The mattress beneath you is entirely enough. Think of Thiensu Ajahn Chah sitting in his quiet forest monastery in northeastern Thailand. He sat among the giant trees for decades, watching the seasons arrive and dissolve without a trace. He did not try to produce a special state of peace. He simply inhabited the stillness that was already there. If you let go a little, he promised, you will have just a little bit of peace in your life. If you let go a lot, you will find yourself with a great deal of peace every single day. And if you let go completely, you will have complete, unshakable peace that no storm can touch. Setting something down is not a philosophy. It is an immediate physical experience in your body. Feel your shoulders release right now, as if a heavy coat has just slipped from your frame. The thoughts moving through your mind are not your identity. They are just temporary weather. A thought about tomorrow's schedule arrives, moves across the screen, and dissolves into the dark. A memory from 5 years ago arises, holds your attention for a second, and leaves the room. The sky does not become anxious or defensive, because a dark cloud passes through its space. The sky remains the sky, vast, continuous, and completely untouched by the storm. You are the vast sky tonight, not the temporary clouds of calculations or rehearsals. Let the clouds be exactly as loud or as quiet as they want to be without your interference. The awareness in which all of these thoughts appear is already perfectly still right now. Let us look at the story of Thiennu Visākhā, who brought her deep grief directly to the Buddha. She had loved her child completely, and the sudden loss had broken her structure into pieces. The Buddha did not tell her to stop feeling the pain or to treat her tears as a failure of practice. He received her grief with full, unhurried presence, because grief is just what love looks like when it meets loss. But he reminded her that in a world where things arise and pass, An open heart must make room for change. Visākhā didn't stop loving her family after that conversation. She continued to give and care for decades, but she stopped using her actions to bargain for permanent safety in a changing world. She gave because giving was her path, not a shield to prevent the rain from falling on her house. Your hands are resting now, loose and open after a long day of carrying heavy things. What did these hands lift today? What folders did they open? What burdens did they hold up? Let them go completely slack right now, letting the fingers find their natural, easy curl. There is absolutely nothing you need to reach for or hold in place at this hour of the night. The silence in this specific room has changed texture since we first began listening together. The loaded, dense silence of the evening has dissolved into the spacious silence of the watch. The daily noise has receded far enough that the ground line of your life is finally visible. Rest in that ground line. It is patient, solid, and requires nothing from you. The Buddha once spoke of an untrained mind as a bowl of water stirred constantly by the wind. While the water is moving, it cannot reflect the moon or the surrounding trees with any clarity. Most people waking at this hour believe they must reach their hand in to calm the surface, but the hand reaching in to force the water still is the very thing keeping it disturbed. The water finds its way back to stillness through the simple absence of whatever was stirring it. Withdraw the wind of your calculations tonight. Let the project of tomorrow go. The water is not damaged or altered at its core. It is simply moving right now. The natural stillness is still there, hidden perfectly right beneath the ripples. Let your eyelids rest with complete ease over your eyes, like a soft cloth over a mirror. Let the small muscles around the corners of your eyes release their search for objects. The dark behind your lids is warm, interior, and safe. A deep pool to rest inside. You are part of a quiet community of thousands of people awake across the planet right now. Lying in similar rooms, breathing the same dark air, navigating the same quiet hours. The final watch of the night connects the smallest and quietest community on earth. We are moving through this transition together, unhurried and held by the night. The morning will arrive on its own conditions when the dark has finished its work. May you be safe from the second arrow of your own heavy thoughts tonight. May you be well in this specific body, pressing heavily into this comfortable bed. May you be at peace with your life exactly as it has unfolded up to this moment. May you be free from the exhausting illusion that you must govern the entire universe. The practice is complete. The stories have been received, and the current has been cut. The voice becomes part of the shared silence of the room now. The sky is still the sky, and your heart is finally home. Rest here. Just rest.